Hello there, Zara. Nice to see these essays from you. Let's get right into this. Okay, the first essay is internet. Is it positive or negative? Let's see what you had to say. The issue of whether the latest advances in technology related to the internet. So I changed this word, removed the and put it here. Are beneficial for the population or not, has grown in importance over the last decade. This essay will analyze both views using examples from Harvard University and the Australian Psychologists Association. All right, now all of that is fine. However, you haven't answered the question, okay? It is very clearly stated here. Is it a positive or negative development? And you didn't answer it. You just said that you're going to talk about both of them. And it also very clearly asks you, to what extent do you support this? Again, you haven't answered. Now, if you're looking for a 7 and above, Zara, then this kind of response will not garner that score that you need. All right, so keep that in mind. Whenever the essay asks you, whatever it asks, because it always asks you something, just answer it. Answer it in your introduction, no matter what that question is. Just a brief answer. All right, so moving on. On the one hand, there's ample evidence that the development of the internet has had enormous benefits for human beings, plural. The central reason behind this is because it has changed the way that people communicate with each other. Nowadays, a person can call, video call, or message one another through Wi-Fi or 3G without having to pay extra in their phone bill. For example, recent empirical research by Harvard University showed that since the advent of Facebook and Skype, the communication between members of the same family who live apart has increased by 75%. Excellent. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the advances in communication related to the development of the internet have extraordinary benefits for the population. Lovely, clear, fine, no problem. So it's a beneficial thing. It's fabulous. Okay. On the other hand, although there is a case for saying that this is a positive development, the impact of this, I would have gotten rid of development here because you just said it here, cannot be overstated. So since this is a contrasting idea, another thing you could have said is positive development, the negative impact. So make this contrast a little more clear, okay? This is largely because it has changed the way that the population uses to communicate, especially in the way that young people interact with each other, leaving face-to-face contact almost non-existent. So I had to change a few words here. For example, an extensive study by the Australian Psychologists Association showed that 65% of teenagers prefer to communicate with their friends through social nets, such as Facebook or WhatsApp. Thus, it is possible to state beyond doubt that this development has negative effects in the new generations. You know what? You haven't really proved that here. Just because people are communicating through WhatsApp and Facebook and other sort of text applications, it doesn't mean that it's absolutely negative. It's just a new form. So if you're trying to show that, as you said here, there are negative impacts, you really need to make this more clear. So how could you do that? You could say, in contrast, people seen with each other, young people seen with each other, don't interact with one another. Instead, they just play with their phones, or you know, the quality of face-to-face communication has declined, something. But you haven't really proved your point with this particular paragraph. I don't know if that makes sense, but you haven't really proved your argument. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, so from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that it is a positive development for society. What is a positive development? You mean that the development of communication through the internet. That's what you mean. Now, if this is the case, then your paragraphs are in the wrong order. This talked about positive aspects of it. This talked about negative. Therefore, since you believe that the positives outweigh the negatives have to go here, and the negatives go here. So reverse these two paragraphs. All right, Zara, I hope all of this makes sense. Let's move on to your second essay. Okay, so here it is. It's a formal complaint. Okay, the restaurant, it was terrible, etc., etc. Let's see what you had to say. Dear Sir, Madam, I'm writing you this letter to officially complain about the service received at last night at your restaurant. Fine. Firstly, 2 days before I booked a table for 6, when I arrived to your venue, there was not such a booking. Okay, you know what's missing for me here? Some commas. So, 2 days before, comma, I booked a table for 6, and when I arrived to your venue, there was not such a booking. Fine. After waiting, you know what? You didn't need to make this its own paragraph. This is actually the perfect introduction to its own. So this should have gone here. After waiting over 45 minutes, the waitress advised that we could sit in order. The first 2 plates arrived 30 minutes after we ordered, and 10 minutes later, another 2 plates arrived to the table. At this stage, 4 out of 6 people in the table had their food. So, as a result, that is, okay, so we called the waitress to ask when the other 2 plates would arrive. Now, this is reported speech, so you need would. Would arrive, and she answered us that probably in less than 5 minutes. At the end, comma, the last 2 plates arrived when the rest had finished their meals. I tried to make a complaint with a T before paying, but the lady, which lady? The hostess, the waitress, the manager, who? Advised that we should pay and then complain by letter. I would like to request a full refund due to the terrible service received yesterday. Please find attached a copy of the receipt. Regards, Zoe Del Cagno. Okay, so Zara, I don't know why I saw it said Zoe. Zara Del Cagno. Okay, so Zara, it's lovely, it's fine, no problems. Most of it is quite good. However, Dear Sir or Madam requires that you end the letter with yours faithfully, always. If you don't know the name of the person you're writing to, when you write Dear Sir or Madam, you have to end with yours faithfully, okay? Other than that, it was good. I made some little comments throughout the letter, so I'm sure you can listen to this video correction again and, you know, kind of process all the feedback that I've given. On the whole, it was good. I had some questions about your paragraphing. Paragraphing is not super important in task 1, but it's still something you should try to make as logical as possible, okay? Which is why I said what I said before about putting these 2 together. So, Zara, keep on writing, correct these essays, add the errors to your error correction list, send us back some new essays. I can't wait to see all of it. So, best of luck with your writing, and I'll be here. I will be waiting to see more of your writing, okay? Thanks.